Yo, YouTube. Um, get ready to go live. Although I do think I'm going to change something about my stream style. Alright. First, let me just see what the topic is. Who who is a product of propaganda? Right. I think that's a better topic than yesterday. Um. Right. Who's a product of propaganda? Okay. Go live. Go 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 go. Why is this? Why is the live stream bugging? Look at this. 1 second. The live stream is bugging. What's going on here? I don't know what that is. I'm install Twitch. What's up with my internet? There's nothing wrong with my internet. Okay, there we go. I'm live. Okay, I'm live. Live, 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 live. All right. Before we start, to be honest, I wanna talk about yesterday and the topic we did. Honestly, if we are really looking into things and being realistic about things, then yesterday's topic wasn't really, you know, where we're really trying to direct where this is going. We really have to be honest with what we want to do. So, you know, everything we do has to have some intent. Although I'm gonna make mistakes here, but I'll say it has to have some intent. So I think what I'm gonna do is, if a topic doesn't match what um, hold on, I'll just show you what I mean. Okay, I'll show you what I mean because we're in this together, right? Form. Okay, this is what I mean. Okay, this is what I mean. 1 second. Right, like here, look. This. Just reflective introspection. I want to encourage people to reflect how they think. Put their minds to it. Well, I think the first thing to really, to honestly talk about is, oh flip, never even did this properly. Let me get to that first. Okay, there's two topics in this. Yeah, I think both these topics have like the same. What the flip? Both these topics have the same like thing. Get out of trouble and dress better. I'll see though. Then I'll reset canvas. Right. I think from the topic yesterday, right? Yesterday's topic. I don't think it really matches exactly what like we're all trying to do, right? We're moving to a particular direction. Okay, so we're here. We don't know much, right? We're just, trying to learn, whatever the case may be. And we're trying to move here where we know a lot of stuff, right? The knowledge is right. I think there are just some topics that just shouldn't be discussed. It's like I think yesterday's topic was kind of like a filler topic. You get what I'm trying to say? Right? I don't know what like the criteria for like really finding out what filler topics would be though. So let's make that a thing now, right? Filler topic. Right, what would that be? What would a filler topic be for us? I'm just gonna do this for like 3 minutes and then we're gonna go into today's topic. Something that should I say doesn't matter or because I actually do believe that a lot of things, most things do matter to some degree, but I need to have a scope of the type of topics I talk about because I can't talk about anything, but with anything that I do talk about, there has to be like a sense behind it. It has to make sense. You know, right? Because remember, the thing about like principles, we never actually really. Oh, did we set them up? Actually, it could be here. No, I don't know if it is. I'm gonna have to go back and see if we actually made it. But yeah, we have some principles, right? Of the type of things we talk about. So now because I think yesterday talking about like how to dress better, I think that was a filler topic. To be honest, it was very much a filler topic. So with that being the case, um, right, I will just know if it's a filler topic. You know, I don't want to say it doesn't matter if it's like irrelevant, right? If it's irrelevant, then it's a filler topic. Just gonna say that. So anytime I make topics, right, I'm gonna just do like a little checkbox. Right, is this a filler topic or is this not a filler topic? And then I'll make some and then I'll cancel some like not filler, tick, filler, X, not filler, tick, not filler, tick, filler, X. That's what I'll do. And then it's only these three that I'll do. You know? So now that's out of the way. Let's get to today's topic. I don't think today's topic is filler, right? So, who is a product of propaganda? This is going to be challenging. Okay. That's the topic for today. Right. What is propaganda? Right. First, we need to really understand what propaganda is. Okay, so I'll just say, propaganda is some sort of deceptive, like narrative, right? I think it should be in media. Is it in media? I'd say in media. In media. Right. So propaganda is some sort of deceptive narrative in media used to change the views of people. Right. So why would this be done? Um, Simply to like make people see things a particular way, so that a particular outcome can happen. That that would be my guess. Is it to excite a particular action? I don't know. To is it? It's not to. It's not. It's not to force an action, but to make it. Hmm. Right. So like it's a deceptive narrative in media used to change the views of people. Why would they want to change the views of people? Like it can stop people from, I guess, retaliating. It can stop people from, you know, like I mean, yeah, like retaliating, doing something about the right information, you know. So what would that be? Right, to make people see things a particular way, to control what people do by making them see things in an artificial. It's like, yeah, it's to control people by making them, like it's by deceiving them. I already said that, but it would be sort of, it's basically like to spin the narrative, but you're trying to get people to, yeah, you're trying to control people, people's actions, to control people's actions. But artificially, right, to control people, what people's actions, to control people's actions by manipulating the information they receive. Right, there we go. So that's sort of what propaganda is, you know. And so this is based on what I know anyway. It's based on how I can unravel it. Right. So now, who's the product of this? To know who's the product of it, let's go from a different perspective. Who is outside of propaganda? Like, let's say this is everyone that sort of is captured by propaganda, right? Right. This is everyone that's captured by propaganda. And there's a lot. Just multiply this. Okay. What if I just Making a lot. Right, that's everybody who's captured by propaganda, right? Now let's look outside. Right, let's look outside of it. Who are the type of people that aren't captured by propaganda? Right? And we're gonna dissect these people to see who actually is or isn't. Okay, so I'll just start. Right, I would say, okay, people that so the people that dictate the information. Right, so these are the ones that artificially create the story that they want to present. Right, so this would be people with power to do this. So like you have your politicians. Mm, um, media outlets. So like this would be different types, like the news, movies, ad, word, adverts, etc. Right? Who else? Who else has the power to change the way, like a group of people see things? And I'm talking about like in a macro level. So like the whole. Who dictates what the narrative is? Who has the power to spin culture? I can just say famous people. Right? People with their eyes on them. They could do this off their own fruition, or they could do this because somebody's putting them up to it. Sometimes it's not actually them and they're more of a pawn, right? So based on like the power structure, right? Other people in different categories can actually be used as a means for propaganda. Okay. Right, these are the type of people. Okay. So politicians, media outlets, news, movies, adverts, famous people, and stuff. Are these the only people outside? Okay, those are just people that dictate what information. Okay, now who else isn't like not compressed? But who isn't like not immune as well? Because these aren't all immune. These are just people who can dictate what propaganda is, and they can sort of escape that because they're the one creating it. So who else is outside of it? I would say intelligent people with what if I say journalist? People that are actually on the field, right? Journalists, they will be outside propaganda. They could be part of the people making it, like the news. Journalists could be working for the news, but the people that actually know how to go get their information or know how to scour the web or wherever you get information from to actually get the right one, those would be the type of people, right? You can say lawyers. You You can also say detectives. And this is not every single type of detective, every single type of lawyer, every single type of journalist, but these are just, and to just make it more holistic, I'll just say people who who like to confirm where they get their information. So would you say like only cynical people are outside? Not really, right? Cynical people could actually be the product of propaganda as well, right? Someone told them not to trust anyone, not to trust anything, so they don't ever. And it's like that can be its own spiral. But essentially, the people that are outside sort of propaganda, outside this like game, right, of trying to manipulate information, um, this game of like manipulated information that makes you do something, you know, those people will be the type of people who can see things in a wider perspective and confirm the information from the primary source. People who have access to their own primary sources, right? So you can even say people of power as well. Right? You can say this too. Mm, right. To really understand this, let's go deeper, right? So propaganda is more about information sort of manipulation. So how do they see through the disguise, you know? Let's say there are different layers and what everybody wants to hear is the truth, right? Um okay. This is the truth and this is what everybody wants to hear. Right? Now let's say propaganda is this. It's like the truth is hidden by propaganda, right? Let me make another. Actually, no. What am I gonna do here? Okay, I'm gonna do something cool here. I'm just gonna do this. Duplicate, and then I'm just gonna make it smaller, bigger a bit. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay, right. This orange like ring is propaganda, right? And it's sort of coating or hiding the truth, right? Now, if all these people, right, let's say these are people with power to create propaganda, and then these are the people with ability to see past it, right? And these are just a few examples. There are others as well. Now, how do they peer through it? I think we already have one answer here, right? For these guys know the truth, but they like to believe this and they want this to be the case. So this is sort of their truth, so they can understand it using sort of, I guess, access, right? But these law, they sort of break through it. With a hammer, you know? Then they get to the truth. Right? So how is that done? How is that done? Let's say there are different shells. I'll use every single color. Right, this is the final shell. Actually, I'll just go back. I'll zoom all the way in. This is the final shell. Right. And this is the truth. But this is like one layer. It's another layer. It's another layer. This is the highest layer of propaganda. Right. How do those type of people break through all of this? Where would they get their information from? Let's say, for instance, this layer is like the final eye. Right? This layer is before the final. Right? This layer here. This one is kind of like has the truth in it. Has some truth. And then this green layer a lot of truth, but not the full picture. I think, and then this is the truth. Right. What I think is this. So, basically, I don't know if I don't know if any single person has, I guess, the full truth. Or even if they did, I think it would be so blurry that people wouldn't even believe them. You know? No human being anyway. You know? Maybe no matter who's making the propaganda or who's not, maybe everybody stops here, right? A lot of truth, but still not the full picture. Me personally, I don't think we get past the full picture. But to a lot of people, and I think, right, this is like where you're extremely wise. Like you can feel it, right? You can feel the full truth, like in the, like just down the road, just like a little bit more, but you're always just a bit away from the full truth, you know. And then the blue side is like some of it, right? This is the part I think um most people are in. Right? And this part are the part of the like this is the first stage of like propaganda. Like you're already in deep, and then this is just like you're just kind of delusional. This is like just you're just completely gone. Not there's no saving you, but like it's just like oh you have a long way to go. When you hear the truth, you just break down. But this is you're already being manipulated on the daily basis, right? This is like you're fully gone. This is where I think most people are, but this is where everybody should be. Why? Or are most people here, or am I taking it too far? Are most people here just before it? You know, that's what we're gonna find out. Okay, now I'm gonna use this, and we're gonna bring every person here. We're gonna see what these means to here. Okay, so journalists, right? I think they would be. Let me give them a color. I think if like they're actually trying to genuinely seek the truth, they have access. So I'd say they're green. Lawyers is in a specific area, and they might be going based off of just some set of rules. So I would say lawyers in terms of going away from propaganda. They don't work with the news all the time, but they have access to that. So I would say I'll give them green and blue. Like half green, half blue, right? Detectives, I'll give them a green. People who like to confirm where information is from. I could give these lot a green as well, but you never know because they can go from a black to a green, honestly, because you don't really know how deep they go. And then people of power, these lot, I think they have access, so green, right? They have access. That doesn't mean that they can't be manipulated forcefully as well, right? But in terms of propaganda and just seeing things and taking them as they are, I wouldn't say people of power do that, right? Now these guys, I have to give them a score as well. I'd say, well, it depends. Any of them could be green, but to be fair, I'll give most of them just a blue. Blue adverts, that can be that can be a black. Movies that can be a black as well. News, I'll give them a blue or green, blue and green for the news. So blue and green, right? So media outlets in general, I can just say green. And then politicians, same with people with power. I'll take green because they have access, but they're the ones spinning the narrative. You know. So these are the people outside. Now, why do I have like movie stars and stuff as black? Because they could genuinely believe some of the things that they make. They could genuinely believe it, even if it's not true or reality. Right? That's why, as a society, we have sometimes believed some ridiculous things. Sometimes we believe that the rules or the guidelines we have are so robust that we can't ever get anything wrong, and then we just get it completely wrong. So to be honest, in some way, all these guys are still in here in some way. But to like make it normal, I guess, I'll say lawyers, detectives, people of power, right? Just people who just confirm where their sources are from, who think deeply about information in general. They could be outside of it, but it depends on where in sort of that trait, how long they've had that trait from. Because remember, depending on where you are, where you started, there's a lot of barriers to get through to actually get to the truth. So that's what I'll say for that. Right now, where would be areas where you get your information from? Right. Because if you have access to the truth, then you have access to the primary source. Right? We'll say, okay, what would be important information that people would need? Let's say politics, because the future depends on who's in charge, right? Politics, need access to that, right? Access to knowledge. So just information, like suppressing and releasing different information, putting different more emphasis on one set of guidelines than the other, or this and that. Whether that's books, like whatever the case may be, where knowledge is transferred from, right? What else? When I say reality, in terms of advertising, how adverts can be deceptive. So that's also like in the range of knowledge too. So I can go with advertising. I can go with debates, discussions, curriculum, right? So these things, you might be relying on your curriculum to give you all the information, but depends on who your curriculum is set by to show you if that's going to be enough or not enough to achieve the thing you want to achieve. And politics is just basically information on info on leadership, because it's necessary for how the country is going to move. So they present you with what the actual problems are or what the fake problems are, and they sort of try to give you a solution. If a politician moves your mind away from actual problems and you don't really, like, nobody can really see it, and makes a problem shine brighter when this is the more pressing one, and shows how they're going to fix this problem, that means that this is not going to get touched. So they can use propaganda to appeal to your emotions rather than to think rationally. They can bombard you with information to suppress the important. So, with that being said, right? How long has propaganda been going on for? It's been so long and with so many things that it's really hard to determine what information doesn't have like a coding of propaganda in it. You know what I mean? So I won't put anybody in as red. So that means to some degree we're all under some bit of propaganda, because depending on what you know, how you get your information, will determine exactly how close to the truth you are or not. You know? So I think that is what I'll say. Now let's make a statement. Who was a part of the propaganda? To some degree, everyone is a product of propaganda. This is because it's been so how the media for so long it is quite difficult to, for one, for this reason, I don't know how many things I spelled wrong here, but there you go. That's it, right? And this is very terrible English, but I'm going to condense it. Okay. To some degree, everyone is a product of propaganda. This is because propaganda has been so infused with how the media operates for so long that it is quite difficult for a single person to know the full story in their lifetime. For this reason, there are multiple levels of propaganda. If a person is not careful to understand making sure the information they receive should they get from a reliable source, then you're a product of propaganda. Conversely, even if you have access to real info, at some point going back to the first person who wrote that piece of info, there could be coatings of propaganda in there also. So once again, everyone to some degree is a product of propaganda. Right? So everyone is. the best thing to do is just to, for each person to do, is to make sure they have and they will okay, now let's search it. Now, who's the product of propaganda? Okay, so product of propaganda is anyone whose beliefs, attitudes, and actions have been significantly shaped by deliberate, systematic, and often misleading information to promote a specific agenda. While often associated with totalitarian regimes, propaganda is pervasive in modern society, influencing people, opinion through media, politics, and advertising. Right. Well, that's not good. This is people whose actions, beliefs, attitudes, and actions have been significantly shaped by deliberate, systematic, and often misleading information. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I think I went too far back. I need to know when to like cut it off because then everybody is everything, you know? I think I go way back too much, thinking that like I think this is from a more cynical perspective because propaganda is just like if you're acting towards the more deliberate, like misleading of info, you know? Not just any information is misleading. That's a cynical perspective. So yeah, they're right. Okay. So I think yeah, I can notice that with myself. I'm being too open, too vague. So this is more cynical. So I'm just gonna put that here. Let's say this is a cynical perspective. Right. Cynical perspective. Now hmm, what kind of techniques in media? Why is I don't know why my so name calling, glittering generalities, transfer testimonial. This technique relies on endorsements from more respected figures or ordinary people by showcasing testimonials. Propagandists seek to convince the audience that their cause or product is trustworthy. Celebrity endorsements, customer reviews, and success stories fall under this category. Plain folks appealing to the common person. Plain folks propaganda portrays leaders or products down to earth. Politicians may emphasize their humble background and show themselves engaging in everyday activities to connect with voters. Card stacking. In this method, only selective information is presented, emphasizing positive aspects while ignoring the downsides or downplaying negatives. It is akin to stacking a deck of cards in favor of a particular viewpoint. Advertising often use this technique to highlight product benefits while omitting drawbacks. Bandwagon appeals, bandwagon effects, exploits, or desire to belong and conform. Propagandists create an illusion that everyone is doing it and supporting a cause by suggesting that joining the majority is the right choice. They encourage people to follow the crowd. Half truths, loaded words, obfuscation. What is this? Inten- Intentionally confusing the same issue with vague, non specific language. By avoiding clarity, propagandists create uncertainty and prevent critical analysis. Complex legal jargon and ambiguous statements serve this purpose. Strawman arguments. Techniques involves constructing an exaggerated, distorted version of an opponent's viewpoint. By simplifying or misrepresenting their arguments, propagandists create a straw man that is easier to attack. Deliberate manipulation. Propagandists deliberately select facts, arguments, and symbols such as words, gestures, banners, music, clothing, and more to represent in ways that belief will have the most impact. The goal is shape belief, attitudes, and actions. So yeah, to shape beliefs, attitudes, and actions, right? So I was a lot off. I would say I was about like 72% off. So this was like not great, you know, because the product of propaganda will be the people who fall for that, right? Let me see. In terms of the world, like, what percentage would I say would be people who actually fall for propaganda? And will I include myself in this? I'd say about 60% of people. Because this is the loud, this is the. Would I say 60% or would I say a loud, smaller percentage? The silent 60 or a loud 30. Right? No, I'll say it's a smaller percentage. I'll say it's a loud 30. Mm, loud 30% of people fall for propaganda. You know? The loud 30%. Right? So that's what I'd say. You know what's so funny? Said I'll be doing these topics, but I also said that I'll try to make it as entertaining as possible. I'll try to do fun topics and this and that, and it'll be cool. I think it will be difficult to find a position for me because I I say no to a lot of things, you know, and I feel like the type of people that succeed here, like they will do anything. So I can try it for a year, but I don't want to just be shooting at the fan or the fence. So I do believe like extremely great videos in terms of like really good quality editing would be attractive, you know. Otherwise, extremely intelligent dissecting of the topic would be attractive too. So it's not like tapping out. No, it's a year of streaming every day, but trying to grow it because I do want 100 viewers would be challenging. So if I can't make those like not entertaining, but like those like sort of eye catching, eye grabbing type of videos, and I'm more relaxed dissecting it. How would I stand out? And I'm doing all this thoughts and everything. We're doing everything here so that it can be a complete um showcase of the journey. It might not turn out to anything, but fine. We tried it. So it's like you have to think about it exactly. I've said a lot of things that I'm going to do, but it's been tough to get all of them done because I didn't really like any clips. So it's not that I didn't like any clips. Yesterday, right? I think I made a clip, but it just didn't. Wait, let me go. Let me go on my downloads again because I made a clip yesterday. All right, this is the clip I made yesterday, but I just didn't like it. I just didn't like it. Look, I'm just gonna post this on. To dress better, you should have a certain level. Like you should no, not a certain level. You should be on the highest levels of hygiene. Number one, right? Comfort and great color coordination. Right. That should never be a thing that you miss. Right. Never, ever at all. You should always have those things. Right. Then you have to couple this minimum entry requirement with consistency, right? And volume. So being consistent in different types of clothing styles, different experiments. And also, you have to be able to do this within any environment you see yourself in. If it's a right, I don't know. I just don't like that. Dress. I'll flip. I just don't like it. I don't know. Right, because I just want to post like one clip every single day. I was saying that, right? But I made this, but I just genuinely just didn't like it. So it's like what do I want to do? It's either I just want to have it low quality, high volume, or I don't, and I have to sort of spend a lot of time like actually editing a really good video and uploading that, and it's just gonna sync, right? What I'm doing is this. This is my main thing, like the streams and everything external is like external, but I have to try and get 100 people on here in some way, but not like one time, but like concurrently. So I do have to distribute my what I have to offer, and it's not gonna change much from this. It's just gonna be this, but it's gonna be chilling. So I'm thinking about it in this way, like trying to get people to join. That's gonna be tough because think how I'm doing it. Like mine has to be like fun, right? But the topics I want to talk about they're just not that. So how do I make it more engaging? I was thinking about that soon. Not soon, but I was thinking about that like as quickly as I can, you know? But I do feel like Instagram is a decent way to at least get to people. So maybe I have to just start like following people, but I don't want to be that person though. You know? How do you even add videos? Because I could probably do that now, but I don't know how to add videos. I think on Twitch you can't really add any videos either. It just has to be a highlight from the stream you had. It just has to be a highlight from the stream you had. You can't really upload any videos. you know. So I'm gonna go try to figure this out, right? Oh, my phone. I also need to put this on my Discord. Right, I'll put that like in a bit, right? And that's it for the stream. Peace.